Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar hosts, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It is great, as everything you will need to build your winning lineups, chat rooms, optimizers, value tools, stack tools, you name it, they've got it in the palm of your hand. So go check that out. I am on Twitter at BDintric, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott, hair flowing in the wind. Bogman, how you doing, my friend?
I mean, you know, we record this one later than any of the other ones we do for the rest of the week, because we record an hour of radio before this. And the Diamondbacks might win a game. It's 4-4 going into the ninth now. So they have a chance, but I feel like my look has been more disheveled every single day for the last 10 days because they've lost 10 games in a row, longer than 10 days, by the way. But I'm becoming more and more miserable watching this team, but at least DFS keeps me entertained. So hopefully my Diamondbacks pull off a win, but at some point I'm going to have to cut all the hair off just to get the luck to change here.
Go full Samson. Just cut your hair off and hope your powers change. That'd be fun there. Chris Bassett dealt on Thursday night. Just going to throw that out there. Absolutely filthy stuff against the Angels because Shohei Ohtani got scratched because he was in traffic, couldn't get to the ballpark. That is the worst excuse I've ever heard.
Sandoval.
Patrick Sandoval started.
Right. How would you like to be Patrick Sandoval, by the way? It wasn't like Ohtani was in his own car. They were on the team bus, and there was traffic. So they're like, you know what, Ohtani, let's not risk it. Let's throw out this guy. You'd be like, what are you going to risk it with me? You know, I mean, I get it. It's Ohtani, but come on down. You know.
Yeah. Bad stuff there. Sonny Gray looked good. Reds won 3-0. Strasburg had some early runs, but kind of settled in as that game went on. White Sox game got in. They got the W. Some double headers. Bichette homered in both games against the Yankees. Alek Manoah looked like the real freaking deal.
Yeah, he did against the Yankees too.
My goodness. And I hope his mom's at every baseball game going forward because with the camera on her, electric factory. So that's good stuff there. Germán Marquez, 6-inning complete game. That was great. If you played DraftKings, that was good. Just a little bit of everything on a Thursday. Lots of wild action, but nothing too crazy, it felt like. It was just some good old baseball. But yeah, we'll see. We got 12 games on a Friday, and we kind of hinted at it earlier this week. There's like a couple teams that don't even play on Friday. It's a weird schedule this week.
It's a weird Friday.
Yeah. And there's a Wrigley game, so that's not on the slate. And the wind's blowing in from right field about over 20 miles an hour. So if you're playing Wrigley, you know the drill. Play the pitchers. We have an early before 7 o'clock Eastern game. So, of course, the sites can't put that on the slate because that's too difficult to move it up 25 minutes. So we got 12 games.
At least you're not bitter about it. That's good.
No. What I'm bitter about, I don't mind 12 games. But as we talk about the slate, half of them, 6, have rain issues involved.
Yeah,
so
it's not good because we went over them just before we started, and I don't like a ton of pitching here. Maybe you're going to like pitching more than I do. There's not a lot to like for me on this slate. So, and half of the guys that I liked are involved in those games because half of the teams are involved in those potential rain games. So hopefully they'll end up like Baltimore and Chicago was today, where it was delayed, but they got the game in.
Yeah, hopefully it's that situation, or at least I want to play these guys, as Bogman's mentioned. At least call it early, so I don't have to sit there and go full NBA DFS and get pissed when they call it after lock, because that's the annoying factor. So if you're going to call it early and go from there. But let's get things kicked off here. 12-game slate. The Milwaukee Brewers at the Washington Nationals. Brett Anderson, John Lester, 2 washed-up left-handed pitchers. Over under 9.5 on this one. This one has about 70% chances of rain, everybody. So here's one of your first ones. Most of it's in the northern central of the country to the northeast. That's where most of your rain's at, and lots of wind in these games too. But 70% chances of rain. Anderson 7,500 on DK, 58 on FanDuel. Lester 81 and 63 respectively. I am passing on the hitters, even though Milwaukee's bats are not that great. I'm just not John Lester in anything. If this game plays, Bogman, what do you like?
I mean, I like the hitters, and I think you meant pitchers. You said you're passing on the hitters. But
Passing on the pitchers because there's going to be a lot of hitting, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of good PVB data here, too. Josh Bell against Anderson, 3 for 7 with a bomb, 2 for 5 for Urias with a triple, 2 for 8 for Keston Hero with a bomb. And then, obviously, like you said, Lester's been around for a million years. So Lorenzo Cain is 10 for 30 off of him with 3 doubles. Yelich is 9 for 24 with a double, 8 for 23 for Wong, 6 for 18 for Garcia. And there's some good prices here. Garcia is a good price. Cain is a great price. Keston Hero is cheap because he's been miserable. Josh Harrison can't stop hitting. Kyle Schwarber's been dropping some bombs too. So there's a lot of bats to like in this game, but you just have to make sure it's going to play because 70% chance of rain means this game's getting interrupted by rain at some point. Hopefully it's at the beginning, or hopefully the rain comes early. What's the spritzer? Of course, we always ask each other, but I mean, this doesn't look good because of the weather.
Yeah, the other thing I'll mention in this one, San Diego just went into Milwaukee and ran all over that pitching staff. So Trey Turner is expensive, but is going to run wild. So keep him on your radar if you want to do that, especially for cash games. He's in play. Otherwise, it's the value you mentioned. I think Avisail Garcia is a phenomenal value, and build around those moments because I love stacking Washington, but between the weather and just the inconsistencies right now on a large slate, I'll probably go elsewhere. But Trey Turner, I wouldn't be shocked if he steals at least. I'll go 2 bases on Friday night if the
or
game
just
plays.
On Friday night.
Yeah, just on Friday night if the game plays. In the series, he'll steal at least 4 bases.
Oh, I love that. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, Atlanta at the New York Mets. Ian Anderson, Taijuan Walker, over under 6.5 on this one. This one has the wind blowing in from right field at 13 miles an hour and 90% chances of rain. So not good, Bob. Anderson's 97 on DK, 9,000 on FanDuel. Walker 91 at 8,000. I kind of like both pitchers in this game. I prefer Ian Anderson in this game, but my goodness, if this game might get called by 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow if the things stick the way it is.
And this is Walker coming off the IL, right?
Is
this his
double
first start
check
off
while
the
you
IL?
talk?
But I like him, but I don't think I want him against Atlanta. And 90% chance of rain. I don't want anybody in this game. Ian Anderson, I really like 3 quality starts in a row. I love him against the Mets, but I am fearful that this game gets rained out. Luckily, no PVB data really to speak of, and not many hot bats on either side. It's all Atlanta. Nothing hot for the Mets right now. It's Riley, Albies, Swanson. Freeman's been hitting a little bit. Acuna obviously is expensive, and they're all expensive too. So as far as this game goes, I'm probably just going to sweep it underneath the carpet and forget it exists.
Yes, Walker is coming off the IL, as you mentioned. I want Ian Anderson, but I'm already planning, like Bogman said, this game probably ain't happening, folks.
Right.
All right, Miami Marlins at the Boston Red Sox. Cody, Poteet versus Martine, Perez. Over under of 9. Perez has been like sneaky good because he changed his pitch mix. He's 87 on DK, 84 on FanDuel. Poteet's been very good, but he's also faced the New York Mets. That helps. He's 71 on DK, 73 on FanDuel. With pitching deteriorating quickly with the weather, Bogman, any of these pitchers look good to you?
No rain in this game?
I have it starts out dry, it picks up as the night goes on, so it's one of those they might be able to sneak it in type thing.
Okay. Well, I like Martine Perez here, and his price isn't bad either. Like you mentioned, 87 and 84, 2 quality starts in a row. I kind of like Poteet, but I don't want to play him against Boston and Boston. I'm not ready yet. So I'm going to pass on Poteet, but I do like Perez. As far as bats go here, barely any PVB data. Corey Dickerson's 3 for 8 against Perez with a double. But hot batters are on the Boston side. Devers 46 and 38, so not crazy expensive. Bogart's not crazy expensive either, 53 and 4,000. Verdugo's been hitting, he just hasn't been hitting for a lot of power, 36 and 2,600 for him. And John Berti is in there because half of the Marlins lineup got hurt this week, so 3,900 and 2,100. I mean, the injuries have been just ridiculous, haven't they?
More than ridiculous. It's been horrible, absolutely horrible. So we'll see how that one keeps unfolding, but it's been very bad. And I'm with you. I think Martine Perez is very viable on this slate. Very, very viable against a just deteriorated Marlins offense, like you mentioned, with the injuries they've had. And he's been good. Some very qualified people that knows pitching much better than I do have broken down the pitch mix changes and why he has actually been effective. We saw this with Perez at times with Minnesota, and then he kind of went away from it. So it's one of those right away it's hot thing. See what happens. Yeah.
Martine Perez is like, he's a Wade Miley, right? A guy that never is going to blow you away, but he's going to stick around in the bigs for 10 to 15 years because he's just pretty good.
Yeah, and he'll have like out of his say 25 starts in a season, he'll have like 10 to 15 where it's like, dang, he's actually pretty darn good.
Right. And then he'll get blasted for 8 against Toronto or something. You know what I mean?
Yep. And you just stand back and go, yep, Dennis Green will be
proud.
That's who he was. We let him off the hook. All right. Yes, Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland Indians in this one. Hyun-Jin Ryu, Eli Morgan, over under of 8. Wind blowing in from right field about 20 miles an hour. 50% chances of rain. So this one we have a chance. Like it's how bad the weather is. 50%. We've got a chance. It's a coin flip. Hyun-Jin Ryu in this one is 8,400 on DK, 96 on FanDuel. Morgan 46 on DK, 55 on FanDuel. I really like Hyun-Jin Ryu if this game plays against Cleveland, and I really like the red hot Toronto Blue Jays bats. So this one's pretty cut and dry for me, Bogman.
100%, Bob. I mean, I think Ryu could be one of the highest owned pitchers on the night tonight. There's some really good ones too, the next game, but that one might get rained out. So because of that, I think Ryu and his price, 84.96, as you mentioned, makes him affordable and a great start against Cleveland. I mean, it's just the chalkiest chalk to ever chalk here. So I love Ryu, and you got to pay for the bats, but and not all of them are crazy expensive, but they are for the most part. Vlad is expensive. Marcus Semien is expensive. Teoscar's up there at 46 and 37. But Gurriel, who you mentioned, has started hitting, and he's real cheap on FanDuel, 39 and 23. Randall Grichuk, 42 and 28. Rowdy Tellez has been hitting 29 and 2,000. So if he's in the lineup, he's a good one. That's your guy. Harold Ramirez has been rocking and rolling for Cleveland, 23 and 22, and Eddie Rosario is cheap, actually cheaper on DK, 29 to 31 on FanDuel. So there are bats galore in this game that I like.
And Rosario went deep on a Thursday, so you never know on that one. But I keep rocking Toronto for once. Like they were low owned in their last 3 games in New York, as we expected. They'll be much higher owned on this game because this makes too much sense. But I always go to Semien. He kind of gets like the forgotten man in those games leading off there. He went deep. Bichette's outstanding. I love this offense a ton. Like sometimes I just fade Vladdy because he's so expensive, and obviously it doesn't work very often. But you got to make your stack a little difference, and Vlad's always the first one people put in. So that's just kind of how my thought process works. Does it work all the time? No, but you can do a lot with $6,200 in a lot of offenses. So something to think about. New York Mets at the Detroit Tigers. We got Garrett Cole, Casey Mize, over under 7. Mize has been much better of late. 67 on DK, 8,000 on FanDuel. The Yankees offense has been sputtering. And then you got Cole, 11-2 on DK, 12-2 on FanDuel against the worthless Detroit offense. 19-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field in this one, and 40% chances of rain. So we have a chance in this one.
I mean, I think Cole is probably the best option on the board, even with the wind, right?
Yep.
Because, I mean, if you strike out, you're not putting the ball up in the air, and he's going to get a bunch of them against Detroit. So I still think he's one of the best options. He's priced like it, though. 11-2 on DK, 12-2 on FanDuel. So you got to pay up for him. And there's been some decent Tigers bats, but I'm not playing any Tigers bats against Cole. So pass on that. So it's Yankees bats. And they're not all crazy expensive either. The guys that have been hitting. Torres is affordable at $46.35. Judge is always expensive, $6,036. Andujar is a nice price at $33 and $21. Brett Gardner's been hitting a little, $3,000, $2,000, and Gio Urshela $44 and $2,300. So I know, Bub, you're going to have every share of Gio Urshela, right?
On FanDuel, yes, that's a great price tag. I think Brett Gardner, if he's leading off with that wind blowing out against Casey Mize, is quite intriguing. I like what Casey Mize has done of late. I really do. It's just hard to fade the Yankees, but it could be a contrarian play if you want to.
Manoah got him.
Yep.
So
and Mize has been good his last few starts. He's done a few things that have
and that's what it up. That's the exact note I put on there. It was he's been good, but I don't want to play him against the Yankees. But watching the Yankees today, maybe there's some hope there. And with a bunch of games getting rained out, you can do worse.
For 67 on DK, I think it's intriguing. 8,000 on FanDuel, I'll pass. But as an SP2 on DK in a tournament, if you want to kind of spice it up, there is some Casey Mize appeal. I can definitely get on board there. But the Cole train should be loud and proud. You're 100% right there. I like that call quite a bit. But with that wind blowing out, we know Garrett Cole will give up a home run or two even with the wind not blowing out. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So if you want to get different, Akil Baddouche cheap. Candelario, like don't do a full stack, but pick a guy or two you think can hit a home
Grossman
run.
has good PVP against him too.
So like those little things are kind of differentiators on the slate if you want to mix it up a little. Not a must play, but it's something to think about when you're building your lineups. Those are the kind of things that kind of stand out once in a while. All right, Baltimore Orioles, Chicago White Sox, Matt Harvey, Dallas Keuchel, over-under of 9. It is 22-mile-an-hour winds blowing across the field with 70% chances of rain, which really stinks because the White Sox versus Matt Harvey sounds so attractive.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best stack of the day, right? I mean, but like you said, too much rain pressure here, so I don't want Mr. Kelly Nash or Harvey. So, I would love to have some White Sox bats, but because of that weather, I'm probably just going to sweep this game underneath the rug too.
Yep, one of the worst spots on the slate, but it was really bad going into Thursday, so maybe we dodge a bullet again. Keep that in mind. I just have a feeling back-to-back days of getting lucky is not that common. But if so, White Sox. But what you could do is download the LineStar app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and go in the chat there, and we talk about the weather. You can talk about whatever you want to get your lineups built. Use all the cool tools. Check that out. Also, if you give a rating review on iTunes for the podcast, the On Deck MLB DFS podcast, we would truly appreciate it. And last but not least, if you prefer to watch the podcast, go to the LineStar YouTube channel, subscribe, give that thumbs up, like, and all that good stuff. Would help us out a lot. All right, 6 more games, halfway point on this slate. We got the San Diego Padres at the Houston Astros. Dinelson Lamet, Framber Valdez, over under 8.5. We got 2 guys rejoining the rotation here. You got Lamet 7K on both sites, Valdez 82 on DK, 85 on FanDuel. Really intriguing play here because both offense, or at least San Diego's kind of sputtering. Part of me wants to use Valdez on this weird slate. Part of me doesn't know exactly how far they're going to let that leash go on him. So it's very tricky, but I do like some Houston bats against Lamet.
I mean, I like both sides here. Stack. Guys coming off the IL can be rough. So I think both sides you can open up. But like you said, Houston in particular, Tucker is a great price, 38 and 2,800. He's starting to come alive right now, too. Altuve is still expensive. Correa and Bregman are expensive, but worth it. San Diego, Tatis, Pham is a great price at 35 and 28. Profar has been hitting a little bit, 38 and 27. Hosmer and Kim are coming around, and Kim is super cheap at 27 and 22. And Ray Cronenworth, like you've mentioned before, is always a possibility to buy. So I'm going to skip the pitchers and go with the bats in this one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I can see your argument completely. If you want to take a chance on Framber, wait for the news and see how far they let him go. Because he had at least two rehab starts, maybe 3. So at least he's got a little work in, but I still think they're going to babysit that one for a little bit. Yeah. So keep an eye on that situation.
Maybe he'll get stuck in traffic. Who knows? And not be able to start.
I still can't believe that thing. That's just unbelievable. Like, there's no excuse for that in the major leagues. No excuse at all.
Yeah, get your bus out on time. Like, what are you thinking?
The worst part, it's an AL West team. So they know the route from the hotel to the stadium. They've done this many times. Like, know, it's not the first time you played a night game in Oakland.
Right.
Like, this is how it works. It's ridiculous. All right.
They need a new travel coordinator, Bubba. So
well, sign me up. I'm in. Let's go.
Get on LinkedIn. See what they've got available.
LinkedIn. Kansas City Royals at the Minnesota Twins. Chris Bubick versus Randy Dobneck. Over under 8.5 on this one. We got 2 just great names to talk about here. Bubick 65 on both sites. Dobneck 65 on DK, 77 on FanDuel. If you want to use Dobneck as an SP2, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't hate him here, but I don't love him either. But I mean, he went 6 in his first start, so that's not bad. But and we've got a lot of weather stuff going on too, so Dobneck might not be a bad cheap option. So there is a little PVB data against both of these guys. Nelly Cruz is 2 for 3 with a bomb against Bubick. Sano, who's hot right now, is 2 for 4 with a double. That could easily turn into a homer. Jorge Polanco's 3 for 6 with a double. Benintendi is 2 for 2 with 2 bombs against Dobneck. So not bad either. And then there's some hot hitters on both sides. Santana, Merrifield, Perez, Mondesi back is a cheap price, cheaper on DK than FanDuel. Another one of those rare ones, 28 and 3,000. And then on Minnesota side, Ref Snyder's been hitting. Kepler, Garver, and Kirilloff have all been hitting, but Ref Snyder by far the best deal at 24 and 22.
A ton of value in this game. Like Sano is on fire. The fact he's only 42 on DK, 31 on FanDuel is outstanding. Ref Snyder's been hitting the ball very, very well. So definitely some value there. And then Alberto Mondesi is still way too cheap. So I don't mind a Minnesota stack, especially versus left-handed pitcher. It's something we like to do. But I also don't mind a little bit of Kansas City action, especially led by Mondesi at that price point and getting some nice value out of a game that I think you're going to see a little bit of offense. That's for darn sure. All right, St. Louis Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks, Johann, Alvierdo versus Madison, Bumgarner, over-under of 9 in this one. Mad Bum's been very good this season. St. Louis has been hitting the ball pretty well. So he's 89 on DK, 81 on FanDuel. Oviedo, 7,300 and 6K. I like me some Oviedo today.
Yeah, I mean, I really resent the fact that every single day this week you've liked the pitcher against the Diamondbacks, but you're not wrong. So
pretty good track record.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying I resent it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm on it here too. Oviedo hasn't looked fantastic, but the Diamondbacks look miserable right now. So I'm on it with you. Bumgarner, just because there are so many weather and guys that I just don't want any part of, is okay in this one too, but I don't think there's just too much PVB data against him here. I mean, the Cardinals really hit him. 3 for 5 for Edman, a double and a triple. 4 for 8 for Carpenter with 2 doubles. 24 for 69 for Goldie with 5 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 bombs against Bumgarner. You know about a lot of that. 15 for 60 for Arenado with 4 doubles and 2 homers. That's only a 250 average, but with some extra base hits. And, Sosa's been hitting as well. Some guys have been hitting on the Diamondback side. Escobar didn't go yard.
Some guys.
Pavin had a good night on Thursday. But I'm okay with Oviedo. I would rather start Oviedo because he's cheaper than Bumgarner.
Yeah, I think Oviedo's a nice, fun one there. And yes, I remember Goldie owned Bumgarner, so very much used to that one. Maybe he gets that home run on Friday since I picked him on Thursday. Par for the course type stuff. So go get him, folks. LA Angels at the Oakland Athletics. We don't have a total on this one because Shohei Ohtani's not pitching on Friday. He's 7,800 on DK, no price on FanDuel. He'll probably be around 10K or so like he was on Thursday. Manaya is 85 on DK, 71 on FanDuel. Same story as yesterday. I'll use Shohei Ohtani in a tournament, but if you want a contrarian A stack to hope he's velocity's down or whatever, I totally get it. And I will stack against Manaya all day long, except I really don't like the Angels that much. But
no, I like Manaya here, Bob. I'm opposite of you. I like him here against the Angels. Look, and we know that Manaya is a bit of a landmine, right? So he can be a landmine, but I really like him against this Angels lineup. The Angels lineup is banged up. So and Ohtani's not going to be in it, so or not going to count towards it. So
no, he'll hit still.
He'll hit still. You're right. I shouldn't have said that, but I don't know. Well, maybe he won't. Who knows? They've been weird with him. So I just
maybe he'll get stuck in an elevator this time. Who knows?
I like him in this start, and I haven't been on Manaya for every start. So there is a little PVB data against Manaya. Upton 4 for 13 with a homer, 2 for 5 for Kurt Suzuki with a bomb, but I like the A stack. I'm kind of with you. Lagares, Canna, Seth Brown, Olsen, Laureano, Lowry, and Kemp have all been hitting. Don't know if they're all going to be in the lineup here, but they've all been hitting. And for LA, it just hasn't been a bunch. It's Taylor Ward. Who knows if he's going to be in the lineup? Josh Rojas or Jose Rojas, and then Jared Walsh as well. So only a couple batters. I kind of like Manaya here. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, I get your logic. I do. I can't stand him. I think he's not that good of a pitcher, but maybe I'm just wrong and spiteful for many reasons, but it's been profitable in the past. But I get it. The Angels offense is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Bassett proved that. Bassett's been really good this year too, though. So that's a little different. San Francisco Giants, Los Angeles Dodgers, Anthony DeSclafani, Walker Buehler, over under of 7.5 on this one. Disco 79 or 69 on DK, not on FanDuel yet. Buehler 10-4 and 11,000. I kind of like some Buehler in this one. He's been very good. He's been stretched out now. I like the Giants offense a ton. Don't get me wrong, but I think Buehler is very, very live in this one.
Yeah, and Buehler had a quality start last time out,
Yeah.
and Desclafani gave up 10 his last time out, or whatever it was, 8 or 10 or something. It was a lot. So I think that's might be the only reason he's pitching here is because he only went 1 or 2 innings in his last start. So not going to throw him out there against the Dodgers. So I kind of like the Dodgers, a mini Dodger stack here of like, Lux, who has 2 for 3 with a bomb against Desclafani. Muncy's 2 for 6 with a bomb against him. Will Smith has been hitting a little bit. So I like those guys as kind of bats waking up. I know did Mookie leave the game? I know he got drilled today.
He finished it out. He's fine.
Okay. So there's some PVB data against Buehler on the Giants side, though. 3 for 10 for Yastrzemski, 5 for 14 for Longoria, who has been mashing the ball recently. Crawford's been good, and Duggar's been good when he's out there, too. So I kind of like Buehler, but I think if I'm going to pay up for a pitcher, it's still probably going to be Cole, even with the possibility of weather.
Yeah, I like Buehler quite a bit. I hope the weather doesn't happen because if Cole's out, then everyone's going to go to Buehler. So that makes it interesting. And I also like a Dodger stack here. Like I've liked what DeSclafani's done this year, but we saw who he was last time. We've seen this Dodgers team. Muncy went deep on Thursday. I like him quite a bit in this one. I like Gavin Lux. That left side of the plate, something you can pick on DeSclafani with quite a bit. So
are you going to have more? Are you going to have more Buehler or Ryu, do you think?
I'll have more Ryu. I love the price point with Ryu and what he can do. I'm a big Ryu fan on this one, so I'll have more Ryu. All right, Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners, Jordan Lyles. This is our last game of the night. Look at that.
Yeah.
Jordan Lyles at Justice Sheffield on this one, over under 8.5. Again, 2 dreadful offenses, 2 not so great pitchers. Lyles 53 on DK, 67 on FanDuel, Sheffield 79 and 64. You honestly could sell me on any 4 of the situations here. Yeah,
I mean, my note is on Lyles is not even against Seattle, and for Sheffield, it's not even against Texas. So I'm going to pass. I would go with bats here. Kyle Lewis actually has some PVB data against Lyles, 4 for 8 with a double and a homer. Adolis Garcia, did you see him swipe that homer today? Good Lord. Yep. I mean, guys been doing it on offense, also doing it on defense. That's getting scary. We're getting into MVP talk. And
DK still can't price him accordingly.
Yeah, 35 and 39. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think FanDuel has him priced right. So to be that low on DK is just ridiculous. I mean, if MVP talk, if the Rangers could win more than 5 games, would be great. So 2 for 3 with a bomb against Sheffield for him. 5 for 9 for Solak against him, 3 for 8 for IKF. Haniger, Seager has been coming around. Ty France is back in the lineup in cheap 28 and 2,000 on FanDuel. JP Crawford's been hitting a little, and Nate Lowe. Was it tonight he went yard? Tonight or yesterday? I can't remember when it was, but he's been warming up a little bit too. Started out the year hot, then faded, and is starting to come back up. So I'll take the bats, and I'll ignore the pitching here.
Yeah, that was yesterday because they got shut out by Chris Flexen and company 5-0 tonight. So Chris Flexen. This is what I mean. If that makes me,
I feel like Ron Burgundy. Jumping into the bear pit. I immediately regret my decision.
Basically, what it comes down to, if you make a bunch of lineups, throw some Lyles and Sheffield out there somewhere, just because these teams are that bad. They really are.
Okay, that's fair.
That's the only thing. And it's hard to stack these teams because do you see them scoring 10 to 12 runs and it's so tilting. Like I like it. I think like Mitch Haniger has been hitting the ball really well. Kyle Seager's in play. Like, how deep's your stack? It's not a deep stack. And I love Adolis Garcia. Like when I stack Texas, it's usually Garcia, Lowe, Gallo, and then you kind of mix and match elsewhere. It's just a struggling situation. Like Adolis is my favorite play, and he still will be as long as he's mispriced like this. But all in all, very, very tricky stuff here. All right. Last but not least, everybody follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app at LineStar MLB. And get ready because they will tweet out the home run calls of the day. Bogman Sports, myself, and Ryan Humphreys will all pick a home run call of the day. And if you retweet it, you're into the drawing. And 3 lucky people that retweet get drawn. And if we get a home run, it's been cold this week from all 3 of us, you win some free swag. So Bogman, on your Friday, May 28th edition, who is your home run call of the day?
You know who my home run call is today. It's Paul Goldschmidt against Madison Bumgarner. It's he crushes him. It's in Arizona, so it'll make me even more mad than I've been. It just makes too much sense. So let me at least get a little joy out of the misery of my D-backs, and I'll take Goldie and win somebody some stuff. Let's go.
No, I love the Goldie call. That's a great one. Because like I said, I picked him on Thursday.
It all adds up.
That's telling you he's going to go deep. And he just absolutely owns Madison Bumgarner. So it's a thing of beauty. I think it's a very, very good call. For me, I'm trying to pick a game that doesn't involve rain, but all the good games have rain. So I'm going to go to my Toronto Baby Blue Jays and give me Teoscar Hernandez going deep against Eli Morgan on Friday night. I think Toronto goes ham on Cleveland. It's going to be beautiful. Ryu with a Toronto stack. What could possibly go wrong? But it's fun. Another week in the books, Bogman. It's flying by. We'll be in the month of June very, very soon. Got Memorial Day on Monday. So make sure you guys get up bright and early to listen to the podcast because those are some early games on a Monday. So check all that good stuff out. But follow Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Intric. You guys have a great weekend, and we will catch you guys later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar App On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.